Now coming to the gear terminologies, now we will discuss few very important terminologies of the gear. The very first terminology is the pitch circle. Now what actually is the pitch circle? Pitch circles are actually the imaginary circles which by pure rolling transmit same power और same motion as that of the original gear. Okay, friction cylinder के बारे में मैंने इस यूनिट के शुरू में बताया था. So you can understand this कि इन दोनों गियर्स को इफ आई एम रिप्लेसिंग दिस टू गियर्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ टू फ्रिक्शन सिलेंडर्स, ओके, दो इमेजिनरी सर्कल से सिंपली मैंने इसको अगर रिप्लेस कर दिया सच डैट बाय प्योर रोलिंग दीज टू सिलेंडर्स, दीज टू सर्कल्स आर ट्रांसमिटिंग सेम पावर, सेम मोशन एज डेट ऑफ द ओरिजिनल गियर्स, देन सच टू circle, then these two circles are nothing but the pitch circle. Getting this? I will repeat it again. If I am replacing these two gears with the help of two imaginary circles such that if the motion transmitted by these imaginary circle is same as that of the motion transmitted by the original gears, then these two circles are nothing but the pitch circle. इन्हीं को हम pitch circle बोलते हैं. Okay, and the point of meeting of these two circle, ओके, जहाँ पर ये दोनों सर्कल मीट कर रहे हैं, डेट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट इज नथिंग बट द पिच पॉइंट. ओके, सो पिच सर्कल को हमने कैसे डिफाइन किया? इफ आई एम रिप्लेसिंग टू गियर्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ टू इमेजिनरी सर्कल्स सच डेट द मोशन ट्रांसमिटेड बाय द इमेजिनरी सर्कल आर सेम एज डेट ऑफ द गियर्स, सो दो सर्कल आर नोन एज पिच सर्कल, और उन दोनों का जो मीटिंग पॉइंट है इज नथिंग बट दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट इज नथिंग बट द पिच पॉइंट. Getting this now? Okay, now this pitch circle is having certain diameter. Okay, ये पूरा pitch circle का अगर हम देखें diameter, that particular diameter of the pitch circle is nothing but the pitch circle diameter, and this pitch circle diameter is actually the most important terminology. Why? Because किसी भी गियर को अगर हमको किसी गियर का अगर हमको स्पेसिफिकेशन देना है, we specify the gear with the help of this pitch circle diameter only. इफ़ यू गो टू सम शॉप और अगर आपको कोई गियर के बारे में मांगना है, यू विल से दैट प्लीज़ गिव मी दिस मच गियर. ओके, इतने डायमीटर का गियर दे. डेट डायमीटर, वो डायमीटर कौन सा है? डेट डायमीटर इज नथिंग बट द पिच सर्कल डायमीटर. तो जो स्पेसिफिकेशन की जब हम बात करते हैं, द वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग विच वी यूज इज दिस पिच सर्कल डायमीटर ओनली. नाउ द surface of the top of the gear, as you can see here, the surface at the top of the gear is nothing but the top land. The surface at the bottom of the gear means the surface, the gap between the two teeth is nothing but the bottom land. Okay, now the area above the pitch circle up to the top land, the area between the pitch circle and the top land is nothing but face. Okay, pitch circle और top land के बीच के area को ही क्या बोलते हैं? That is called as face. And pitch circle और bottom land के बीच के area को बोलते हैं flank. Getting this? So these are few important terminologies. Next is fillet. Fillet, as you can see here, एक small छोटा सा curve आपको दिख रहा है at the end of the teeth, जहाँ teeth के base में एक small छोटा सा curve दिख रहा है. That curve is nothing but the fillet. Next is the circular pitch. Now what is the circular pitch? So we have seen about the pitch circle. Okay. Now in this arc of a pitch circle, if I measure the distance between a point in one tooth to the corresponding point in the next tooth. ओके, इन दिस आर्क ऑफ द पिच सर्कल, इसी पिच सर्कल के आर्क में किसी एक टिथ के एक पॉइंट का उसके जस्ट बाजू वाले टिथ के सेम पॉइंट तक का डिस्टेंस इज नथिंग बट द सर्कुलर पिच. ओके, किसी एक टिथ के एक पॉइंट से लेकर उसके बाजू वाले टिथ का सेम पॉइंट तक का डिस्टेंस इज नथिंग बट द सर्कुलर पिच. Now how can we determine the value of the circular pitch? Very easy. So pitch circle diameter, let's suppose is d, so the whole circumference of this pitch circle is nothing but pi into d. Getting this? Now how many teeths are there? Let's suppose total number of teeth here is capital T. So the pitch, circular pitch will be equal to pi into d by capital T. If I divide the whole circumference with number of teeth, I will get just one circular pitch. The distance between one point of one teeth to the corresponding point of the next teeth is nothing but the circular pitch. Getting this? So this circular pitch you can write PC is equal to pi into d by t. Now one thing we can conclude that if two gears are in mesh with each other, obviously their circular pitch has to be same. Okay, दो टीथ के बीच का जो डिस्टेंस है, that means circular pitch जिसको हम बोले हैं, एक टीथ के एक पॉइंट से लेकर करस्पॉन्डिंग टीथ नेक्स्ट टीथ के करस्पॉन्डिंग पॉइंट तक का जो डिस्टेंस है, that distance should be same for both the teeths. अगर वो दोनों टीथ का वो डिस्टेंस सेम नहीं है, obviously there cannot be meshing. Getting this? So this is very important thing. If two gears are in mesh with each other, their circular pitch must be same. That means you can write it as pi d1 by t1 should be equal to pi d2 by t2, where d1 and d2 are diameters of the two pitch circle, and t1 and t2 are number of teeth of gear 1 and gear 2. So, you can conclude it from here that pi d1 by t1 should be equal to pi d2 by t2, or d1 by t1 should be equal to d2 by t2, or d1 by d2 should be equal to t1 by t2. Okay, so this is the necessary condition, d1 by d2 should be equal to t1 by t2. This if this condition is satisfied, then only you can say that the two gears are in mesh with each other. Next terminology is the space width. Space width is nothing but the width between the distance between the two teeths. दो teeth के बीच का distance, as you can see here, is nothing but the space width, and all such distances whichever I am talking of, whether it be circular pitch, whether it be space width, whether it be tooth thickness, all these distances will be measured at the pitch circle only. ये सारे डिस्टेंसेस जो है वो पिच सर्कल में ही हम मेजर करेंगे, क्योंकि अगर आप ऊपर या नीचे मेजर करते हैं द वैल्यू विल वेरी. ओके, सो स्पेस विड्थ इज नथिंग बट द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द टू टेथ. दो टेथ के बीच का जो स्पेस है, बीच का जो डिस्टेंस है, दैट इज नथिंग बट स्पेस विड्थ विच इज मेजर्ड ऑन द पिच सर्कल. गेटिंग दिस? नेक्स्ट इज द टूथ थिकनेस. अगेन टूथ थिकनेस इज द थिकनेस ऑफ द टूथ विच इज मेजर्ड ऑन द पिच सर्कल. टूथ की जो थिकनेस है, डेट इज नथिंग बट द टूथ थिकनेस प्रोवाइडेड इट शुड बी मेजर्ड ऑन द पिच सर्कल ओनली. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज द बैकलैश. नाउ व्हाट इज द बैकलैश? बैकलैश एरर के बारे में हम पढ़े होंगे पहले. तो बैकलैश इज नथिंग बट द स्पेस विड्थ माइनस टूथ थिकनेस. जो गैप बचता है, दैट मीन्स अगर दो टेथ आपस में मैश कर रहे हैं, इफ देयर इज सर्टेन गैप बिटवीन टू टेथ, दैट गैप इज नथिंग बट द बैकलैश. Getting this? So, how can you calculate the backlash? Backlash is nothing but the space width minus tooth thickness. Space width कितनी है माइनस उसमें से अगर हम tooth thickness कर दें, we will get the value of backlash. Next important terminology is module, M. Now what is module? Module is the ratio of pitch circle diameter to that of the number of teeth. Ratio of pitch circle diameter to that of number of teeth. That means d by t is nothing but module. So, you can say this M is equal to d by t. Now, we know what circular pitch PC is equal to pi d by t. So, you can write this PC as pi into M. Okay, one thing we have seen that for two gears to be in mesh with each other, d1 by d2 should be equal to t1 by t2. Okay, and d by t is nothing but the module here. That means you can also say if two gears has to be in mesh with each other, their module must be same. Next is the diametral pitch. Now, just the inverse of module is nothing but diametral pitch. So, how can we define diametral pitch? It is the ratio of number of teeth to pitch circle diameter. The ratio of number of teeth T to pitch circle diameter D is nothing but the diametral pitch P. So, you can define this P as T by D. Now, further you can write it as P into PC, P which is diametral pitch into PC which is circular pitch. This will be equal to pi D by T into T by D, which is nothing but pi. So, the product of diametral pitch and circular pitch is nothing but pi. Next is the addendum circle. Now, what actually is this addendum circle? Now, in this gear tooth profile, if I join all the top points of the gear tooth, if I am joining, I will get one circle. That particular circle is nothing but the addendum circle. Getting this? Similarly, if I join all the bottom points of the gear tooth, I will get another circle. That circle is nothing but the dedendum circle. Okay, if I am joining all the top points, the circle I am getting is the addendum circle. If I am joining all the bottom points, the circle I am getting is the dedendum circle. Getting this? Now, the distance between the radial distance, I should say the radial distance between the pitch circle and addendum circle. The radial distance between the pitch circle and addendum circle is nothing but addendum. And the radial distance between the pitch circle and dedendum circle is nothing but dedendum. And the standard value of addendum is one module. Okay, if nothing is mentioned about the addendum, you can take the standard value of addendum as one module, and the standard value of dedendum is 1.157 of module. Okay. Next is the full depth of the teeth. Now, what is this full depth? Now, the total radial distance between the teeth space, radial distance is nothing but the full depth. Okay, how much depth this space is having. Okay, that is nothing but the full depth, and that obviously is equal to addendum plus dedendum. If you want to determine the full depth, that is nothing but addendum plus dedendum. Next is the working depth. Now, there is a difference between full depth and working depth. How? if two teeths are, let's suppose two teeths are meshing with each other, getting this. Okay, now you can see a small gap in between these two teeth. That small gap is nothing but the clearance. We will come to the clearance. That small depth is nothing but the clearance. So what is the working depth? So the total penetration of the second teeth into the first teeth is nothing but the working depth. How much second teeth is penetrating inside the first teeth, that is nothing but the working depth. Okay, total depth is a different thing. अब उसमें से कितना working depth है कि कितना सेकेंड गियर ने फर्स्ट गियर के अंदर कितना पेनिट्रेट किया है, that is nothing but the working depth. Okay, and that working depth actually will be equal to the sum of the two addendum. Okay, so I will show you what the working depth is. So I have shown you two different gears here. One is of yellow color, as you can see, which is gear number 1, and second is of green color, which is gear number 2. Okay, one is the blue line, you can see, is of the pitch circle of gear 1, and red colored line is the pitch circle of gear 2, and as you can see, the mating point between two is nothing but the pitch point. Getting this? Now what is working depth? Now we were talking of working depth. So what working depth is nothing but the this particular distance, total distance. So here this distance is nothing but addendum of gear 1, this is addendum of gear 1, and this is nothing but the addendum of gear 2, this is nothing but A2. Getting this or not? So total working depth, if I want to determine, so total working depth will be equal to A1 plus A2, as simple as that. Okay, कितना ज़्यादा penetrate किया है second gear inside one first gear, that is nothing but working depth, and that is nothing but the sum of addendum of the two gears. Clear or not? Okay, now another term I told you is the clearance. Now what will be the clearance here? Clearance is nothing but the gap between the two gears, that is nothing but clearance, this gap. Okay, I think you can see this. This particular gap is nothing but the clearance. Now how can we determine the value of this clearance? This is nothing but clearance C. Clear? Okay. Now what will be this clearance? So this clearance will be equal to dedendum of the first gear minus addendum of the second gear. Dedendum of first gear minus addendum of second gear. How? Okay, you can see this particular distance C is nothing but dedendum of the first gear. This is nothing but the dedendum of the first gear, D1. Okay, minus addendum of the second gear, which is nothing but A2. So if I subtract this 2, I will get the value of this clearance D1 minus A2. Now further, this dedendum of the first gear can be written as 1.157 of m. The value of m, as I told you, will be same for both the gears. Okay, तो dedendum जो होता है that is 1.157 of module होता है, and addendum is 1 times of module, so minus 1 times of m. So this clearance will be equal to 0.157 of m. This is the standard value of clearance. Next terminology is the gear ratio, which we denote by G. Okay, now what actually is this gear ratio? This is the ratio of number of teeth on gear to number of teeth on pinion. Okay, generally जो large size gear रहता है that is termed as gear, and the small size gear out of the two gear is termed as pinion. So the number of teeth on gear to number of teeth on pinion is nothing but the gear ratio. Another related term is the velocity ratio. Now what is this velocity ratio? This is nothing but the ratio of angular velocity of follower. Follower means the driven gear which is getting drived, okay, divided by angular velocity of driver gear. Okay, so the ratio of angular velocity of follower to angular velocity of driver is nothing but the velocity ratio. Okay, or you can say this will be equal to omega 2 by omega 1, where omega 2 is the angular velocity of follower gear and omega 1 is the angular velocity of driver gear. Okay, now another very important thing, I have told you about the pitch cylinders and pitch circles. Okay, so let's suppose we are assuming this two pitch circles which are transmitting the power. Okay, now at any point, at the mating point, I should say at the pitch point, the velocity of these two circles of these two gears must be same. Let us suppose that velocity is Vp. ओके, बिकॉज डेट इज़ अ कॉमन पॉइंट, वो एक कॉमन पॉइंट है, तो वहाँ पर दोनों गियर्स की जो वेलोसिटी रहेगी, आई एम कंसिडरिंग द पिच सर्कल ऑफ द टू गियर्स एज यू कैन सी हियर. सो जो मेटिंग पॉइंट है एट दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट which is called as a pitch point, there the velocity of the two gears will remain same, will be same, because that is a single point, Vp will be same. Okay, or you can say this Vp is equal to omega 1 into r1, which is also equal to omega 2 into r2. Let's suppose this is gear number 1, this is gear number 2. Okay, so V is equal to omega into r, so this will be equal to omega 1 r1 is equal to omega 2 r2, or you can say omega 2 by omega 1 is equal to r1 by r2, or further it can be written as d1 by d2. Getting this or not? Okay, so you can conclude that this velocity ratio is also equal to, which is equal to omega 2 by omega 1, which is also equal to d1 by d2. Okay, so this is nothing but the velocity ratio. Okay, now वेलोसिटी रेशियो अब फॉलोअर टू ड्राइवर है, हो सकता है कि फॉलोअर जो रहे, फॉलोअर अपना फॉलोअर गियर जो रहे, हो सकता है उसकी साइज़ बड़ी रहे, हो सकता है उसकी साइज़ छोटी रहे. तो वेलोसिटी रेशियो में कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है, क्योंकि कुछ बुक्स इसको 1 से ग्रेटर शो करता है, कुछ बुक्स इसको 1 से लेस शो करता है. ओके, सो देयर यू विल हैव टू यूज़ योर कॉमन सेंस कि at that particular question whether that velocity ratio which you are using should be greater than 1 or not. क्योंकि अगर फॉलोअर की साइज़ छोटी है देन ऑब्वियसली उसकी स्पीड ज़्यादा होगी, और अगर ड्राइवर की साइज़ बड़ी है तो ऑब्वियसली उसकी स्पीड कम होगी. सो इफ सपोज द वेलोसिटी रेशियो इज गिवन एज 1:5 and velocity of driver is given as 20 rpm. Okay, and if driver is having more number of teeth, then obviously the speed of driven will be more, so the speed of driven will be equal to 20 into 5, which is equal to 100 rpm. तो यहाँ पर एक common sense use करना है, because many books describe this in different way. अलग अलग books जो है वो अलग अलग तरीके से describe करता है, कुछ 1:5 लेते हैं velocity ratio को, कुछ 5:1 लेते हैं. कुल मिला के ये एक reduction ratio है. How much, by how much scale we are reducing the speed of that particular gear, that is nothing but the velocity ratio. Getting this? So this velocity ratio, as I told you, is equal to omega 2 by omega 1, which is also equal to d1 by d2. Now this d1 by d2, as I told you, is also equal to t1 by t2, which is number of teeth of the two gears. So you can say this velocity ratio is also equal to t1 by t2. Getting this?